Today we're joined by a legendary professional wrestler, one of the original Four Horsemen, Ole Anderson. Thanks for being here today with us.
Well, thank you. I'm looking out the door here to see what's going on.
My very first question to you is how you got started in the wrestling business. Were you a fan growing up?
No, I didn't know anything about wrestling. Didn't have any idea. College 4 years, service a little over 2 years. A guy brought me, a guy that I was working out with in Chicago. Do you want to hear a long story or a short story?
Whatever you feel like talking. I got 3 hours with you, so whatever you know.
Okay. Well, I talk like crazy. Anyway, a guy that I was working out with in Chicago was doing some wrestling in Chicago, professional wrestling. And he said, why don't you come with me one night and we'll meet some of the wrestlers over there. And one of the wrestlers he talked about was a guy named Verne Gagne. And Verne Gagne I had met when I was in high school, when I was like a sophomore. I knew Verne had been a couple-time NCAA champion. I knew he'd gone to the Olympics in '48. Anyway, so I was interested in meeting Verne Gagne. So in Chicago, I'm taking the matches, and this guy introduced me to a lot of different people. And of course, one was Verne Gagne. And at that time, I weighed probably 265. And Verne looked at me and he said, you want to get into wrestling? Well, I was thinking about football. But football at that time, 1967, the most I probably could have made would have been maybe $7,000, $8,000, maybe $9,000. And I said, hell, I ain't going to fool around with that. Now, that was pretty good money because as a school teacher, which is what I was going to be, I could maybe make $4,500 to $5,000. But what attracted me there was I got 3 months off. And I got 2 weeks for Christmas, and I got a week for Easter, and I got a week for Thanksgiving. Anyway, Verne said, well, where are you from? I said, well, I met you a few years ago in Minnesota. You went to school at the university with my coach. And I told him who it was, and he said, oh, yeah, I remember him. Yeah, I remember. He said, well, you come to Minnesota. Since you live there, come on there, and I'll try you out. At the same time, another guy said the same thing to me, and his name was Dick the Bruiser. And the Bruiser was nuts. And I looked at Verne, I looked at the Bruiser, I said, hell, I'll go to Minnesota. I'm from Minnesota, so I'll go to Minnesota. Verne got a hold of me, and he said to me, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'll give you $500, and we'll split 50-50 over that. And I looked at him, and I said, you know, Verne, I just got out of the Army. I was making $148, I think it was, a month. I said, but all I can do is make $500. I ain't going to do it. And I knew some of the guys that were in the Minnesota Vikings, and they were making like $25,000, $26,000, Carl Eller and different guys. And I said, if I can't make more money, I said, he said, damn it, he said, I told you $500, not a month, a week, and 50-50 over that. I said, oh, wow, okay. So that's how I got started. Was that the question?
Yep.
I even forgot the question.
Was the training more difficult than you thought?
Was it more difficult?
Yeah.
The only thing difficult about it was that the first guy I worked with or wrestled with was Danny Hodge. And Danny Hodge was known to kill people.
Stretching you and stuff like that.
Oh, God, he beat the shit out of me.
Was he your trainer? Was he pretty much your mentor?
No, I never saw Danny only one time.
Who was your mentor?
The guy that worked with me was Verne Gagne.
Okay, so he was pretty much...
Yeah. Well, see, back then, Verne Gagne used to start one guy just about a year. That was all.
Right.
He started Gene Anderson 1 year. He started Dale Lewis 1 year. He started Ole Anderson. I wasn't Ole Anderson then. I was under my legal name, Rogowski. And I wrestled that way for the first year or so. And I changed that name because I didn't want people to know who the hell I was.
Mm-hmm. How tough was Verne as a trainer?
He wasn't. In my mind, he wasn't. He made you do stuff. You run around and you do this and you wrestle and all that kind of stuff. But he was a nice, easygoing guy, I thought.
Okay. Is it true you were the first Rock?
Well, I'm sure there might have been a Rock in 1920, but I don't know who the hell it was. But they named me Rock Rogowski. And like I say, I went along with that. No reason not to. And the first day I was on TV was like August of 1967. And the next morning I was living in Minneapolis. I looked out we were living in a duplex, a two-story house, I should say. We were on the top floor, my wife and I. And looked out the window, and here's all these cars lined up and down the damn street. I thought, what the hell is going on? I looked to see if the damn house was on fire. And the people started going, there he is, there he is, there he is. And I was like, and they were all pointing at me. Well, how many Rogowskis do you think were in the Minneapolis phone book? One.
Wow.
And it was me. So they found me. I was at 23, whatever the address was.
Right.
And they just drove there to see who the hell that guy was they just seen on TV the night before. And when I finally joined Jane and Lars, I said, I don't ever want to be known by my legal name again. So it was real easy.
How quickly did you develop passion for booking?
I don't know that, I never call it, there was no passion as far as that's concerned. I just thought I was the smartest son of a bitch in the world. I still think I am. Although now I'm realizing that I'm not, because I'm old and I forget my own name, for Christ's sake. But I started doing things in terms of booking, but I didn't know that's what I was doing. I started thinking about finishes and different things that had to be done. And I realized that the finish had to make some kind of sense to somebody. And a lot of finishes didn't make any sense to anybody. They were just something to do, and that was it. And I tried to put a little more thought into it and to try to figure out. And a lot of bookers, I don't know if you know about booking, but so many bookers, all they do is they put this name against this name and that name against that name, and that's what booking is. That ain't booking for me.
Right.
Booking is to come up with every damn thing from the beginning of the match to the end of the match. And how do you end the end of the match? And how do you do the interview? And how do you do everything? That's what booking is to me. And I'll guarantee you, with the exception of maybe Bill Watts to a certain degree and Verne Gagne, I don't think there's anybody else that really does it. They just put names down.
We're going to get into all the booking because we're going to talk about Georgia coming up and all. Let's talk about your memories of Bruiser and Crusher.
Huh. Bruiser was crazier than a shithouse rat. He would love to fight anybody. And some of the stories I heard, he did fight a lot of people. I'm the toughest son of a bitch in the whole goddamn bar. Everybody looked at him. Anybody want to find out? And most of the people would just say, okay, Bruiser.
It's a lot of fun.
And that's the way it went.
Huh.
And he also did the deal where he supposedly took a beer can and went like this on his head.
Right.
He was doing it for a guy who was a rookie who had just started wrestling or football. And the guy took a beer can, an empty beer can, and he went on the side, did the same thing. Bruce said, well, okay. So he took another beer can and went end to end. Just smashed the beer can up against his head. Let's see if you can do that. And the kid took the beer can and smashed it down to a little piece like that. So Bruiser then took a full can of beer. And now he's going to smash that against his head. And the kid said, you win.
What about the Crusher?
Crusher was just a real nice guy. He was just unbelievably so easy to get along with. But he had a gimmick. He had the Crusher character. He wasn't the Crusher when he first started the business. He'd been in the business for years and years and years, until they finally came to Minneapolis and they came up with a Crusher gimmick. And when he did that, the people just went crazy for him. Got on TV, well, you know, and the same kind of deep, I can't do it right anymore, but the people just loved him. And they had Crusher for president in different matches. You know, I mean, they really loved the guy.
Watch thousands of exclusive shoot interviews right now on TitleMatchNetwork.com.